Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. And I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. My Father which gave them me is greater than all, and no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand.
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessing to the elect. Alright, wanted to do this lesson. Alright, the fool hath said in his heart that there is no God. Okay, and this, as you can see, is in Psalms 14 and 1. Okay, now, this is a beautiful precept here, because when you look into the world today, you have different kinds of people, all right, because they have this so-called freedom of religion, as they call it, or freedom to believe whatever you want to believe. Okay, now you have people that say that they're atheists, and they say that they don't believe, some of them say they don't believe that there is a God, or that you are God, and all this extra madness and so on and so forth. But that's why it says here in Psalms 14 and 1, the fool hath said in his heart, meaning in their mind, this is what they believe, there is no God, there is no power. All right, they are corrupt, they have done abominable works, there is none that doeth good. Okay, you'll notice majority of these people are Edomites too. All right, that go around with these theories in their heads. Now, I have a couple of things here. All right, just things in the world that when you look at it, you can't really explain it with, when you look at it, it had to have taken a higher power, some divine, power to cause these things to happen. Okay, because even humans, all right, spend their lives trying to understand how certain things work in the world. So how the hell can you be God when you spend your whole life trying to understand the creation of God? Okay, you have these meteorologists that study and try to predict the weather. You have that's why you have these ologists, okay, archaeologists, thisology, this, that, and that, because it's the study of, you're trying to understand how these things work. Okay, even when you go into anatomy, for example, all right, you don't even understand fully how the human body works. You don't understand how the elements work. Okay, but yet you claim that there is no higher power. So how did all these things come to be? Now, this right here is an underwater cave. All right, it's an underwater cave, and you see I put with air, because you have literally in the deep, in the ocean. Okay, now you would think that in the ocean there should be no, you can't have air under the water, under the ocean, right? Because let's say you have a flood, right? And a flood comes inside your room, and the water level starts to rise. By the time that water gets to the ceiling of your room, you're not going to find any pockets of air anywhere, under your bed or in your closet somewhere. So how, if from the the land going down to the bottom of the ocean, you would think that everything from the bottom of the ocean up until the land should be submerged completely in water. All right, but yet here you have underwater caves, man, where that has oxygen in it. So that's pretty interesting as well. Now, how did that happen? What man was able to do that? All these things that you see, okay, the sharks, whales, different variety of fishes that have different abilities. There's certain fish that just dissolve when they come out of water. Octopus, squids, all these different creatures, and if you notice, they all are related to each other, all right, through the uses. You know, one eats another, then gets eaten, but the cycle continues. Okay, you look into the land creatures, and then you have animals that are amphibians. Then you have animals that strictly need to stay in the water to survive. You have animals that have to stay on the earth and breathe in that oxygen to survive. You know, and everything is just perfect. All right, in the way it was created. You didn't have a man born in or living in water, or fishes on land. You know, because they weren't created to be on the land. You know, so you look at these things in order, how you can eat certain animals and gain certain nutrients that are good for your body, from these animals. The way the earth yields fruit. You put a tiny little seed inside the earth, and over a period of time it becomes a whole tree, and then bears fruit that you can eat, and then repeat the cycle. And that's a whole process, the photosynthesis and all of that. That doesn't just happen. All right. Now you have this here. It says Shanae Tempishka. It says the Shanae Tempishka is also known as La Bamba. Is a tributary of the Amazon River, called the only boiling river in the world. Now I remember the brother brought this out at camp. All right. And I was like, that's interesting. Let me look into that. And it says here, it is 6.4 kilometers long. It is known for the very high temperature of its water, from 45 degrees Celsius to nearly 100 degrees. The name means boiled by the heat of the sun, though the source of the heat is actually geothermal. Okay. It says geothermal gradient is the rate of temperature change with respect to increasing depth in the Earth's interior. All right. So this isn't getting this heat from the sun, but it's just water in the Amazon that's just boiling. Like, certain areas you actually have to use fire to you get the water, then you gotta boil it for it to get hot. All right, but this is just there, and it's constantly like that. So how do you explain that? All right, it says here, Andres Russo, a geothermal scientist, has investigated the source of the heat. There you go. So the fact that they had to go investigate it means they don't even know how it got there. Hey, a lot of these scientists, all right, who aren't paid off to lie to you, they'll actually tell you, look, they don't even understand majority of the things that the way the earth is. Okay, they don't understand how you can put together a human body. Do you know how complicated the human body is? Do you know how complicated any body is? You look at, for example, a worm has no arms, no legs, but yet it's alive. The way, how intricate do you have to be with the details to create the little organs and the little things inside the worm, designed specifically for it, and each of them have their own mind, and how they move, what they do, how they communicate with each other. And then you come to the human body, all right, which is most complicated, the way the eyes work. You sit back and think about all these things and how they all need to work together, in order for you to stay alive. And, but you're born with these things. How the hell do you grow bones in your mother's stomach? How do you go from a tiny ball to a human shape? Your hands, your fingers grow through, your eyes, your brain forms, your legs and your spinal cord and all the thousands of nerves inside your body that are constantly sending signals throughout your body back to your brain. Electricity, but how? But you sit there and boast in your science and say the Most High doesn't exist, but you have no clue what the earth. As of right now, man, I'll tell you, look, Esau thinks that he knows a lot, which he has discovered, quite a lot of things, but the things that are actually there in the earth that we don't know is much more than what we do know. Okay? So you may think you're an expert at this, that, and the third, but you're really just scratching the surface. Okay? And that's just dealing with the earth alone. All right? That's just dealing with even, not even all the lands on the earth have been fully discovered. And definitely not the ocean. Because the lands came forth out of the ocean. So but see, when you go into the scriptures, it'll tell you everything you need to know. But you're gonna sit there and say, no, that's fake, that's not, and then but you're gonna make up something, assume something, and then that's what we gotta believe. So it says, he initially learned of it as a child from his grandfather. The river maintains its high temperature despite not being near any known active volcanoes or geothermal vents, which normally provide geothermal heating for groundwater. All right. So, this is just another example. Now, you also have clouds, for example. Let's take a look at clouds. Let's just type that in. Just clouds. All right. You look at these things, right? Whenever you look up in the skies, you see these things up there, right? Of course we're taught, it's, water and the different molecules, and when it gets dense enough, it gets all dark and then water comes down, right? All right, but what actually is this? You can see the shape, but if you try to even touch it, you go right through it. Like, how do you even put that together? And why would you even think to put that in the sky? You look at all these different things, man, and it's just you can only be in awe. And then you need to understand that, this was done by a higher power. Okay, the fact that when we were put on the earth, everything that we needed to survive was already put on the earth with us. Okay, everything that you see in today's society came from the earth. Technology, cars, buildings, all of the materials that you look at, and you look down and you look at the ground, and you look at those things again. You may look at your PlayStation console, and then you look at you like, how the hell did this come from that? But it did. And then you look at the brain, how the Most High put thoughts into your mind for you to look at the different materials in the base form. All right, sand and wood, and all these things, and be able to, based on how what temperature you use them under, how you manipulate them and wield them, you can create something else, which when you put those together, then you can, plastic and iron and, electricity, all these different things. But you sit back and say that there is no God. And that's why it says in Psalms 14:1, the fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. You look up at the stars, for example, and how they're shining up there. What's holding them up there? If gravity is supposed to pull your ass down, right? And they even think about that, gravity. So what? Without gravity, we would just be floating up in the air. But see how the Lord thought about it all? To keep man upon the earth. But you got the sun and the moon, and look at the sun, for example. Nothing is really holding the sun. It's just like a ball of light in our firmament that constantly goes round the earth. Rises in the east, sets in the sun, and continues to do what it does. Gives light, gives heat. Man, it's so much. It's so much that the Lord has created that we don't even know about. And you can't sit there and say, well, nah, they know. So how do you explain it? They don't come up with no stupid ass Big Bang Theory. Okay. It says, they are, like I read, they are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. But what's funny? These elites will teach you, don't believe in anything spiritual. Everything is carnal. Seeing is believing. But they don't believe that. They just teach you that. Okay. They believe in other worldly, other realm. They worship Satan, but they still believe in a superiority. They know the Most High exists. They just know He's not their God. Okay? Because they understand that you can't have Satan without having the Most High. Somebody had to have created Satan. verse 2, it says, the Lord looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and seek the Most High. They are all gone aside. They are altogether become filthy. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. And that's why it says in Psalms, I believe it's 53, all right, about, or 58 and 3. Let me see if I can find it. About the wicked, all right, being estranged from the womb. Psalms 58. Yep. Let's see. Psalms 58 and 3, it says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Now, when you look up the word estranged, all right, it says zawar, to be strange, stranger, to become estranged, loathsome, okay, to be estranged, to be alienated, okay. And it says, from the womb they go astray. Let's look that up. It says to wander, to go, to stagger. It says to cause to err, mislead mentally and morally. Okay, did the Lord not mention ye err not knowing the scriptures? Look, it says of sin. So they go astray, meaning they sin, they go off. I mean, because they are the wicked. All right, as soon as they be born. All right, it says their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear. So that's why it says that not one understood. All right, they are all gone aside. Okay, altogether become filthy. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. Okay, have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread, and call not upon the Lord? The scriptures mention about how the Lord was a little displeased with us, but they furthered our affliction. You know, and they didn't consider the latter end. All right, it says, verse 5, there were they in great fear, for the Most High is in the generations of, or the generation of the righteous. Okay, the Yahushua said, what? I am with you whithersoever, you know, you go, even unto the end of the world. Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, because the Lord is his refuge. Oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion. When the Lord bringeth back the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice and Israel shall be glad. You know why? Because we're going to finally be in tune 100%, really 144%, all right, with our power. All right, we're going to be made perfect. Okay, so hey, man, just and this, you know, these things that we see, man, all right, that, you know, you may wonder about. You know, you look in the earth and you look at certain animals, and how the Lord gave each animal a defense mechanism specifically unique to it. They have their own traits that help them survive, and they have a defense mechanism, whether it's to camouflage, whether it's to, you know, protect itself, whether it's to fight, run, whatever it may be, you know. But every animal is equipped for its habitat. You ever thought about that? So that's just, I mean, that's just a fraction, all right, of the things that we are to discover, man. But if you sit there, you look at the world, all right, and you don't even understand how a human is created, because you just think of sex. Okay, what about before that? You know, because you need a man and a woman to have a baby, right? But how did a man and a woman come about? Because you're just going to keep going like the chicken and the egg. There had to have been a beginning at some point, you know, but you can't explain that. But you turn around and say, oh, no, ain't no God, man. It shows you that these people, man, they're finished. All right, they're finished. But I'm going to end it off there. Just, you know, just wanted to go into that real quick. All right, Lord willing, was edifying to the elect. The time is coming, all right, when we're going to have the answers to these questions, all right, in perfection. You know, so, hey, that's also a part of the reward, you know, gaining that knowledge, man, because right now we know in part. Okay, but when the time comes, we're gonna gain that full knowledge, man. All right. So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Until next time, Shalom.